No one knows what is happening to the Bazaar. The team have been quiet for weeks now, which is not unusual, but at a time when the community have so many questions, it must mean they're up to something. And I have a few ideas as to what could possibly be going on behind the curtains. But to sum up why I think we've had a quiet spell, however, we must first take a look at what has caused this. Let's go through this in order, and by that we end up starting nearly a year ago, when the Bazaar began to change. Up until that point it was a normal CCG, just what you would expect, with the aim to just build it better almost. Kind of like what Legends of Runeterra has done. They've taken the sort of Hearthstone formula and made it pretty much as good as you can possibly get. The Bazaar was looking to be that, but for the online deck builder games almost, which, I mean, that was already a bit of an innovation, but it was supposed to be taking on those core aspects from those CCGs and developing it under this new sort of style. However, with the Problem with Decks video, we saw a new direction for the game, a move away from traditional card games, while retaining the same sort of feel and strategic difficulty that came with them. What I thought was a strange deviation at the time, but a breath of fresh air, has now become the norm with the Bazaar, as the team continue to innovate and bring us a truly new strategy experience. This has now deviated quite considerably away from what we originally expected to be getting, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have gone back on any promises or anything. They are still delivering what they intended to deliver, but my interpretation of what they wanted to deliver was incorrect to begin with, and I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. This all culminated in a big gameplay reveal 6 months ago, where we saw the auto-battler style of game in action. The strategy element was now pushed into the exploration phase, where you explore the Bazaar and build your deck. This is and always was a deck building game, not necessarily a smash minion on minion game. For 4 months we saw this developed, but it introduced new issues. The system that they'd previously built wasn't perfect when in a 1v1 scenario and having this auto battler go on. This in turn ended up leading to another large update, moving away from the 1v1 and instead introducing infinite player lobbies. For more information on the auto battler system and the later change towards these infinite lobbies, go check out our must know info video and our PvE or PvP video linked below. After each of these updates, the majority of the community were happy to see a new game full of innovation, but a few hardcore fans of older games that just wanted to see a new spin on that existing game made quite a loud noise following every single update. We got the final update video trying to answer one of these concerns, that the game was now lacking in interaction. Their answer was basically that there is still interaction in this game, but it is detrimental to have too much. And, as per usual, I kind of see where they're coming from, and I somewhat agree with them. I'm happy to see where they take this game. But that has been it. This is by no means a content drought. We've gone much longer without any more update videos, but there are so many questions left unanswered in this few-week gap that it kind of feels like one. So why the radio silence in this important time? Well, update videos take a lot of time and care from two of the most important members of the development team, Reynad and Ben usually, so it likely means that they are busy. But if that is the case, what are they busy doing? What are they building? What has taken them away from talking to us and letting us know what's going on? And if that's not the reason that we aren't getting these, then what's the alternative? Well, I for one hope that they are not working towards my worst nightmare for the game. Pandering to the few players that just want another Magic the Gathering, or another Hearthstone, or the artifact that Artifact was meant to be. Personally, I am happy to go back and play Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, hell, I could even go back and play Artifact or Gwent. Those games exist, and there are so many of them, and most of them are good, or fun, and can do for now. But those games are not the Bazaar. For so long, I feel like the general perception from many people was just going to be that Reynad was going to come out, and being the Hearthstone megamind that he was, make the best Hearthstone you've ever seen, and make Hearthstone actually good now. That's Legends of Runeterra, go play that game. Reynad has said this himself, Legends of Runeterra is Hearthstone perfected. Go and play that. If you want to see what Tempo are building as a team, stick around. However, it is entirely possible that this is kind of why we've had this drought, that the team has started to deviate back and almost backtrack into what they were originally building because of the backlash from this small part of the community. It doesn't sound like something that the otherwise strong-willed Reynad would do, but if he deems it the correct course for his game and his company, then they could be quiet as they are reimagining the entire game as this old 1v1 deck builder, still having decks and all this other stuff. This would take a lot of work, but they have a good basis to work from. The older builds looked good, but still required a lot of polish and balance and content and all this other stuff. If this is the case though, do not expect the game to launch anytime soon though. Instead, in the next couple of months, I'd be expecting an announcement of a much later proposed release date. Maybe not even a quarter this year, maybe next year, as well as an update from the team trying to show why they made the move backwards. The most likely answer, as far as I can see so far, is sadly the most boring one, albeit pragmatic. Following the initial outburst of live criticism, Reynad made an appearance on Twitch and said something that struck me as a comment straight from the heart. He really meant it. He only wants to show us a finished game, fully polished, fleshed out with content, so we can make a judgment of the game clearly. Currently, any flaw or point that you don't like is easy to spot and easy to show other people. There is no flavour to the game, or very little, and there is little to no content to keep you engaged. A game has to carefully balance its perception before release. During release, it'll be looking to make a decent cut of the amount spent developing the game. If it is poorly perceived, even before its launch, it will flop. We are just a bunch of sheep after all. If one person with a strong opinion and a big platform tells you Artifact is bad, don't buy it, then you're not gonna buy it. And it's one of the many reasons that game absolutely failed. By not showing us the game until it's finished, Reynad and Tembo have a much better chance of making a good first impression, and therefore guaranteeing the success of the game. The small cost being a little bit of hype. You don't get as long to build that hype up. I know a lot of people put money towards this game through the Indiegogo, but Reynad and Tembo have spent so much more on it since that time. So please, no more comments saying I backed the Indiegogo, make it my way. You do not get to say that, you are not that entitled. With all that said, the most likely answer I have for this quiet period is just that they are busy making content in the game, balancing cards and finishing up polish. If I am right, however, it's not all boring long haul until the release. This just means the polish game will be done sooner, and we should get a bunch of pre-release, super high quality content for the game, and maybe even a burst of early access to the finished game before the rest of the people get it, for those of us that backed the Indiegogo or pre-ordered. This isn't going to be a beta, you're not going to get your hands on the game before all of the card art is in. This game will be finished, but you will just get to play it sooner than other people. And that is when they'll boost the little hype around the game and get some big names playing it, and then they'll release the game and hopefully succeed. I do have one final thought for what this quiet time is though, how this time could be being spent. And it is my personal favourite, and the one I hope we will get to see, although I won't complain if we get the polished game sooner. And potentially will complain if they all backtrack on everything they've done and go back to a 1v1 Hearthstone clone. The team has obviously decided recently to add some way to play 1v1 against your friends. Maybe even add an 8v8 or sort of tournament mode, that could also be in the cards. And on top of that, we heard Reynad discuss a new upgrade model instead of the level system. See the new level system video also in the description below. These are 2 to 3 large new features to develop, deploy and balance in the game. And while they may not take as long as an entire overhaul of the game or applying all of the final polish and releasing the finished game, they will certainly take some time. So this is also super likely for how their time is being spent currently. If this is true, then expect an update video in the coming weeks showing off their 600 IQ idea for a 1v1 friendly game mode, or the new upgrade system Reynad teased ages ago on Twitch. If there is one thing the team have been consistent at so far, it has been showing us cool new features that they have added, and that might be what we should be expecting in the coming weeks. I'm really interested to see where this period of time has gone with regards to the game. I'm still super hyped to get my hands on it, and I know most of you guys are too. I'll also be looking forward to Reynad going through his thought process throughout this period. One thing I know a lot of people have loved about the development of the Bazaar, and one thing that's actually brought a lot of people to it and kept it close in their hearts, mine included, is that this sort of look behind the scenes into how a game is developed, and their thoughts have been really interesting at every step, and I imagine they'll be extra interesting during this quiet period. Whatever they do come up with, you know I'll be covering it here and on our Twitch channel. So if you want to watch update videos live with me and the community, be sure to go follow me there. Links are below as always. Or find us in the official Bazaar community Discord, where we talk with the Bazaar team about all things Bazaar-y, including voting on actual art that will feature in actual cards in the actual game. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I am currently paying close attention to whether or not the Bazaar is actually gaining some sort of traction here. So definitely give me a like and sub if you enjoy or find this content useful. It's really going to help out. I've been Gamesplay Greg, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao!